has taken over.
Let's go.
It's Ferrall.
Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money.
It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
So, what's the latest on Patrick Mahomes, Carver High?
Well, I mean, we saw him, of course, do the whole thing where he hurt his ankle and they carried him off the field, and then he came back in and played and won. So it seems like he's fine to me, but they wanted to let everybody know today that he was able to move around after his ankle injury. Won't be limited. Yeah, he's fine. Let's just call it. We'll get through it. In Portuguese, as you like to say, Mahomes is fine. We thought that after the game. Will the Chiefs go 17-0? You sent me this morning, too, and I wanted to go and look at what they have left this year. Obviously, they're playing the Broncos this week for the 17-0. At the Bills, at the Panthers, home for the Raiders, home for the Chargers, at Cleveland, home Houston, at the place the Steelers play on Christmas Day, and then at Denver. Now, I know everyone loves this undefeated season stuff and all that. I do not believe that they will get through this season. Now, they're going to go like 14-3 probably, or something in that area, but they're not going to be undefeated. They will lose. We've said I think the Bills beat them in the regular season all the time, and the games in Buffalo. They'll probably lose the Bill game. They'll lose one division game, and they'll lose to either the Steelers or the Texans, probably the Steelers at the place the Steelers play. They'll lose those 3 games.
On Christmas Day in Pittsburgh, they're going down.
Going down, and that's an early kick, by the way. That's a 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Christmas Day for the Steelers and the Chiefs. So make sure you got all the presents unwrapped and you're ready to go, and you got your Netflix account all fired up because you'll need Netflix for that game too. That's Christmas Day is Netflix property now. A lot of mouths to feed at the NFL. They got a lot of mouths to feed throughout the year. How about undefeated teams in the month of November? Of course, the Chiefs are the last one of those that we have for this year. Here are the numbers I have for that. 36, 51, and 3. That is 41% ATS in the month of November or later, including 13, 30, and 2, 30% ATS as favorites of 7 or more points. So it gets tougher when you're undefeated this late in the season to get through and to cover those numbers. Of course, the Chief number is 8.5 against the Broncos this week. That would fall into that 30% category at this point in the year.
That game's at Arrowhead, too.
That game is at Arrowhead, too. This week.
It's almost like I'm living in a time warp because every time I turn around, they play at home. And I know it's not true. Yeah, I know it's not true that they play all the games at home, but it sure seems like it, doesn't it?
They've played a lot of home games, and I just checked. 5 of their last 8 are on the road. So they only have 3 home games left after this week. 5 of their last 8 games are on the streets.
That's where their problems are going to begin. And I'll tell you what, it won't end there. This is not.
I hope so.
Like everyone thinks it's so written in stone and that it's a done deal. Wrap it up. We're going to be going to New Orleans talking about the Chiefs. I got a sneaking suspicion all that is going to change in those 5 of their last 8 on the road. And then they're going to, what's going to happen is it's going to trip them up. Then they're going to have to go on the road in the playoffs and they're going to get beat. And the party's going to end right then and there. Remember, no one's ever won 3 in a row in the NFL. And I'm sure the NFL wants to keep it that way, even though Rodgers so in love with the Kansas City Chiefs, with their fake coins down the ref's sleeve and all the rest. They got everything going, but it's all coming to a screeching halt. I have to believe that. I have to pray for that. I have to think that. I have to have an MO of that. I have to light candles for that. I have to do everything human, voodoo, pins and dolls. I have to do everything. I got to go see a witch. I got to do everything I can to end their run. It's got to end. We got to have new blood in there.
From your lips to God's ears. Hopefully that's able to happen. The Lions are in Houston for the Sunday night game this week. Sunday night game looks like a good one. Now, the Lions, of course, won on the road in Green Bay last week. They go on the road to Houston now. In the last 3 years, they are 40-15 against the spread. That's all together, everywhere, wherever you play. 40-15 against the number. They are 3.5-point favorites in Houston on Sunday night with a 49.5 total.
I mean, that hook is scaring the hell out of me right now. I'm still a Lions player here, though. I think they're better than everybody. I think they're better than the Texans. I think they're better than the entire NFC. I think they're a dangerous customer for sure. And I could see them, barring injury, I could see them going to the Super Bowl. Should have gone last year. I think this is their time.
I think it's their time as well. I will be on the Lions this week in that game. I like the under, though, that 49.5. I think that the Texans have played a lot of unders this year. We will try to side to that. All right. A couple of injury notes from today around the league. Of course, on Wednesdays, everybody gets back to practice. Bills wide receiver Keon Coleman not going to practice today. Could miss more than a week. He hurt his wrist. He got smashed in the wrist with a helmet near the end of that game on Sunday against Miami. So they have not said exactly what's wrong with his wrist. They just said that he won't practice today and that he could miss more than a week with that wrist injury. So not good news for the Bills rookie wide receiver.
I tore my rotator. I have both rotators fixed. I had a tear today playing some monster 6'8" guy. Got a rebound over me and just yanked my arm back, injured. I play every day. Your little wrist injury. Your little wrist hurt. Oh, little arthritis in your wrist. Little girly man. I can't even lift my arm. I'll play basketball every day. Can't even lift it. I have a groin problem. My onions are swollen, and I play every day. Can't even run. I play every day. I'm 60 years old. Go sit in the hot tub, you femme.
Well, we don't know what part Trevor Lawrence would have to put in the hot tub. We just know it's an upper body injury for him. Limited at practice this week. Clearly, the Jags are concerned because they signed C.J. Beathard to the 53-man roster. So they obviously C.J. Beathard getting involved this week, maybe not this week, but we'll see what happens with Lawrence.
Everyone's got his phone number.
Everybody's got his phone number. All right. Our weekly look, the best and the worst against the spread in the NFL. We are through 9 weeks as we head to week 10 now. The Lions, 7-1, best in the business against the number. The Commanders, 7-1-1. Colts, 7-2. Vikings, Steelers, Chargers, Cardinals, Broncos, Bears, Ravens. The best against the spread.
We already know that the Colts and Vikings are posers. Just scratch them off the list. We know they're posers. We know the Broncos are posers. We know the Bears are posers. I don't think the Ravens are posers. I just don't think they play to cover. A lot of teams specifically are designed to not be involved in the betting public's world of spreads and trends and numbers and math. They're not interested. They just want to win. And Kansas City's one of them. Pittsburgh, I guarantee you, Mike Tomlin does not care about covering spreads, but they do because they're a good team.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Are you okay with him moving to the head of the class of the Heisman with those 2 games? Because he wasn't even in the discussion before those 2 games.
This is a big opportunity for Dylan if he wants to continue to make his case for the Heisman Trophy, and I think he's shown that. I mean, what is he, a 6th-tier player who's going to probably end up setting most of the passing marks because he's been around for so long? So why not also throw a Heisman Trophy in the mix?
Ferrall Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
And we are back, Ferrall, Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday. That's right, it is a Golf Wednesday on C2C. Of course, we had Stewie yesterday, Keith Stewart, because he couldn't make it today. So we got his picks yesterday. But we always have the Prime Minister, Cam Stewart, with us as well as we give you it all, the outrights, the placements, the first-round leaders. We even got a bonus ball today because actually the better tournament this week is the DP World Tour over in Abu Dhabi. So we've got some selections for that as well. Cam, it's great to see you as always, my man, and we are back this week. We had a week off. We've only got a couple of tournaments left, actually 3, including this week. We got this week, we've got Bermuda, and then we've got Sea Island at the end of the month to finish us out for the swing season before we take a little break and come back fresh after the new year at the Century for the Tournament of Champions. Here's what we have, Cam, and you know what? I'll start, Cam, by giving you this. Here's the chalk. Here's who's here this week in Mexico at Diamante for this event. And you could scratch Cameron Forever Young off the list, yeah. Cam. I guess the family didn't want to take the trip to Mexico after all, and he backed out. So you could take Cameron Forever Young out.
I wouldn't have bet him anyway. This guy has broke our heart so many times, Carver. But I will say this. People like Gracerman, 16. Well, have you seen the guy's results? He's got 3 seconds in his last 5 events. So he's been knocking on the door. It's there for a reason. The guy's a good player.
Well, he's a good player, and he's, as Keith said to me yesterday, he's probably the best player in the field this week. But that doesn't mean we're going to bet him, Cam. Let's go. We'll start in Mexico. Worldwide Technology Open for us. And here's where I'm going. A couple guys who have been red hot in the swing season, and I think maybe could cross the line. Big Bo Hotzler at 25-1 this week. And Lucas Glover, which Keith sold me on yesterday. So Lucas Glover at 30-1. We're going to put him on the card. Burger Time. Let's get Burger Time rolling here. He's starting to get his game back. It's a long road for Burger Time, but maybe this is a field where he can finally break through at 40-1. And looking at the guys in the 50 to 60-1 range and 70s, Cam, I feel like Shipley, who we know have obviously seen this year do some great stuff as an amateur before he turned pro. I feel like this is the kind of field where maybe he's got a shot this week, and 55-1 seems like a very good number to me. So I put Shipley in there at 55.
I've been betting Shipley since he's been on tour, Carver. Like, he's been close. That's the thing. The guy's a really good player. Like, Shipley's knocking on the door. You know what? I am that idiot betting Gracerman. You know, I'll throw it out right there. This is my guy. I'm that guy. Shocky Cam. I'm usually not there, but this week I am. I want a winner, Carver. I've been betting the Sunshine Tour and stuff since we've been off. Like, I've been betting some crazy stuff. I can't stop betting golf. Gracerman at 20. Spuds, JJ Spawn. I know he's one of Brady's guys at 28-1. I do love your Lucas Glover pick a lot as well. I think I'm going to add him. Echeverria, he won overseas. This guy is not afraid. 2 South Americans and Schmid. Watch out for Matty Schmid. I would love this guy to finish a tournament off at 32. Patton Kazire is one in the swing season. And dangerous Joel Damon. One course, this course you could hit it big and long and spray it, and Damon's that type. I know he'll drive you nuts, but 110-1, I'm there, Carver.
I'd love to see him do it because, honestly, he needs to pick it up or else he's not going to get to be on that TV show anymore because he's not going to be on tour. They're not going to follow him around on the Corn Ferry Tour. Here's the placements for me, Cam. Harry English, top 5. Big number here, 6-1. I think Harry will play well. Ben Griffin, top 10 at 3-1. EVR won this tournament last year at this track. Top 10 for him at 4-1. JoJo Highsmith, top 20 at 260. And some big bombs for top 20s. David Skins, always a favorite here on Coast to Coast at 6-1. And how about the big rig getting his card back after dominating on the Corn Ferry this year? Harry Higgs, double H, plus 650 for a top 20.
Wow, Carver's got the all-dreeting girth team and buffet team there. You got a lot of big guys, and I love shirts and skins. I'm with you. Gracerman, top 10. English, I'm not as hard. Like Carver, I love your pick, but I'm getting plus money for a top 20, a little insurance. Kuchar, hey. Tip the man, Matt. This guy is top 5-10 every time in Mexico. Echeverria plus 185. Oh, seriously, you win a tournament, give him more than 5%. Nasty Nate Lashley, Carver, he almost won overseas. I would have won 15 grand. He finished T12. I'm there, top 30. And I can't get enough of the cooties. Pearson Cootie, top 30. Plus 140.
You love those Cootie brothers, Cam. You do. All right, quickly, first round leaders. I got EVR at 50-1. I got Fishburne at 55. Justin Lauer at 60-1. Cameron Champ at 70. The Smother Man cashed a first round leader for us in Mexico 2 years ago. We got to put him on the card at 100-1. And the commissioner Will Gordon at 120. Let's go.
Where have you been? I know, Batman Part 12. Where's the commissioner? I haven't seen him in a while.
Commissioner's back.
He is back. Out of the gates hot with the Coochie. Bo Hostler, he's Carver's guy. I love the first round leader. I'll take him every tournament. Svensson, another first round leader. This guy loves Thursdays. Taylor Moore, he comes out of the gate hot like my horses, and then they fade in the stretch. Heinrich Norlander, close before at 70, and Joel Damon, a double pack, a dangerous Joel Damon at 90-1. Actually, now 110. Nobody's betting him but me, Carver. Good sign.
So that's the Mexico Tour for the PGA. The DP World Tour has the better field this week. Abu Dhabi Championship is what we have. And look who's playing, Cam. I mean, you got Rory here. You got Hatton here, Fleetwood, Neiman, Shane Lowry, Bobby Mack, Justin Rose. Really good field for this event. I'm going to go with Neiman at 10-1, Adam Scott at 20-1, Matt Wallace at 35, and I'm sucked in at this point, Cam. All these DP World Tour events that Thomas Dietrich and these names play, I always find myself in the pocket at 60-1 for Dietrich, so I'm going to go in again.
I think it's a great price on Adam Scott, too. The guy's a world-class player. He loves playing with the best in the world. Ty Hatton, for me, I'm surprised, Carver. This guy's put money in your pocket, 7-1. Rasmus Højgaard, I got a Danish team. Give me a Danish and a copy with Rasmus Højgaard and Nikolai Højgaard here. I got the Højgaards. Who do I got? Nicholas Norgard. I got everybody from Denmark on my card. Let's go. Danishes.
I have a rule, Cam. In full field events, I can never play anyone under 10-1 before the tournament starts. I can never do it. So Tyrrell Hatton's put a lot of money in my pocket this year, both on Live and in that DP World Tour event a couple weeks ago. But I got to say, no thanks this week, Cam. I'm sorry, but I hope that you go. In fact, I'm going to wait. Maybe I can catch him at 10 or 11 if he has a couple of bad holes to start, and then we'll get in there. Cam Stewart, the Prime Minister, Sports Rage Late Night with Gabe, and of course here every Wednesday on Golf Wednesday as we get ready for this week's event. Next week, Bermuda.
Nice.
Butterfield for us, Cam. Lots of guys looking for vacations out there. We're back after this. Coast to Coast.
Are they definitely done with Daniel Jones from this point? And any shot that Dable is off the sidelines, meaning he gets fired before next season?
They have a general manager in Joe Shane. Every big move has to get approval by ownership. So, look, the bottom line is they don't know who their future quarterback is past this season. Tommy DeVito's clearly not the answer. They don't have Drew Lock's not the answer.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
A lot of concern, I would say, for Georgia in Carson Beck. 3 interceptions. Once again. His third 3-interception game in the last 5 for UGA.
You can argue if they had Alex Orji as their starting quarterback for Georgia, they would be perfect and unbeaten right now just by not turning the football over and running it with your talented backfield.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
What can you say about Hunter? Besides the fact that he's got to be healthy. Remember, he had the shoulder injury that kind of limited him at, once he got to the end of the season. 17.9, 10.9 last year, and he should be, as usual, a double-double machine. He's got to be able to continue to show the ability to try and shoot the ball from 3.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
So briefly, I just want to say, I just saw this Anderson Cooper guy and a bunch of hacks on TV talking about her historic candidacy for the White House. I'll tell you what was historic was the ass beating she took last night. I mean, historic in what regard? What, that he had to quit because he lost his mind and they put her in there and she got her ass beat? There was nothing historic about it other than how badly she got cooked everywhere. They literally had like 5 states. That was it. I mean, what they have? She got stomped. Now she's giving some speech, and everyone's showing up to cheer her on at Howard University. What a waste of time that is. Honestly, how out of touch is that chick with the world? Is what I have to say. I've never seen anything like it. They sold her like she was going to beat that dude. He stomped her head in. Is what he did. And I'll tell you what, there ain't and you can say whatever you want about me, go have at it. All that rural America, they're not voting for a woman ever. Ever. You can, until the cows, I'll be in a casket 100 years before it happens. Hillary Clinton did better than her. She did.
She did. There's no doubt about that. It was not... It wasn't close.
It was embarrassing.
It wasn't close at all.
It's not historic. They blame her for grocery prices. That's hilarious.
Listen,
the Dow's never been higher. Everybody's got a job. Everybody's making money, but they're blaming her for grocery prices. Please blame yourself for grocery prices. Grocery prices. Oh, I've heard enough of that. You know what the best thing about today is that it's over. I don't even care. Honestly, if I see another political commercial, I'm going to stick a 9-Glock in my mouth.
Well, thankfully that's over, especially during our...
Jones! He got his ass beat,
during our sporting events as well. I mean, it was getting tough. So at least you could watch college football in peace this Saturday without 600 political ads during the game. It'll get you through. It's over. Look,
It was over last night at 9 o'clock. They said we weren't going to hear. We weren't going to know who. This is how stupid they are. They said, literally, this is how stupid they all are. Every one of them. I heard every network, every single one of them. I watched all of them. They all said it was going to take 3 or 4 days to find out who was going to be the next president. It took 2 hours. It was over by 9 o'clock. It was over. He had 175 electoral votes at like 8 o'clock. By the time I went to bed, it was over. He was already over 200. It was over.
Finished.
Like, what are you, stupid?
It wasn't.
Like, honestly,
It wasn't close.
I have to question how stupid they are. Where do they find these people that talk politics? Where do they find them, man? Out in the gutter? Like all these experts.
Well,
they all think they know everything. I'll tell you another thing. Let me say this. Celebrities, you're a joke. Because they rolled out Beyonce, Taylor Swift. And let me tell you what. How many of those Swifties voted? About -5 million? Not one of them went down the street to vote. All they do is sit around all day playing TikTok. They don't vote.
Look,
I mean,
you know me. I hate everybody, and I will. Here's what I'll just say, and I'll leave this as a piece of advice for people that are very attached to one side or the other. I think that you now have a couple of years to figure out. You got to look at what happened here, and you need to find a fresh face, not some recycled bottled water. A fresh face that can connect with large groups of people that you lost that used to vote for you, because it was so bad that they went and voted for that guy.
They're all gone.
It was so bad that they went and voted for that guy. You need to find someone who can reconnect with all of those people, different groups of people throughout this country that they basically felt disconnected from. And that's what they need to do.
Raping a chick, and they still voted for him.
Voted for him.
This guy, he literally could have been Michael Myers, and he would have won. He could have been an axe murderer, and he would have won. The guy literally couldn't lose if he murdered someone, because and now wait till you see what this guy does to all the people that effed with him. I mean, they're all losing their job, every one of them. And everyone that's in jail's getting out for killing cops. They're all getting out too, because they're great people. They're lovely people, wonderful human beings. That's what he calls them. So have at it, enjoy it, and then watch this. He's only allowed to, this is it. He can't be the president ever again or run ever again for office. But he'll be like Putin. He'll be in there for 40 years. He'll never leave. He's just going to run it until he's dead. And then his son Barron's going to take over. And kiss my ass if you don't like it. I don't care what you think of me.
Are they definitely done with Daniel Jones from this point? And any shot that Dable is off the sidelines, meaning he gets fired before next season?
They have a general manager in Joe Shane. Every big move has to get approval by ownership. So look, the bottom line is they don't know who their future quarterback is past this season. Tommy DeVito's clearly not the answer. They don't have Drew Lock's not the answer.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from, just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
A lot of concern, I would say, for Georgia in Carson Beck. 3 interceptions once again. His third 3-interception game in the last 5 for UGA.
You can argue if they had Alex Orji as their starting quarterback for Georgia, they would be perfect and unbeaten right now just by not turning the football over and running it with your talented backfield.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
What can you say about Hunter? Besides the fact that he's got to be healthy. Remember, he had the shoulder injury that kind of limited him at, once he got into the end of the season. 17.9, 10.9 last year, and he should be, as usual, a double-double machine. He's got to be able to continue
to show the ability to try and shoot the ball from three.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Oh yeah, he's right. He is right. Yeah, he is.
Luke, I am your father's right. He had a kid with her, Melania, and he's already in college at Columbia.
Yeah, they've been together a while.
I can't believe she's been with him that long. Honestly, I mean, that kid's I guess 18 years old isn't that long. She's been with him 18 years.
It's not that long ago. It hasn't. Yeah, I mean, apparently so.
I liked him better with Ivana, and I never really had a problem with Ivanka.
You got to remember,
I knew him and Donald Jr. They'll never admit that, but they used to do my show. They used to do Howard's show all the time at Sirius, and then Jr. would do my show all the time. And then when they got in the White House, he pretended like he didn't know me. It was so funny. I called him out on it too hard, like, you phony ass B. What a phony ass B. Like, you get in there. And another one was that loser lawyer of his, Michael Cohen. He's another one. That guy ended up in jail for him, right? But this guy, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Give me the worst against the spread. I'm sick of talking.
It is what it is. We all had to get up and go.
You got what you asked for. Congratulations. Everybody's happy, right? You got what you wanted.
Everyone had to get up and go to work today. The worst teams.
Congratulations.
Against the spread. The Titans 1-7 this year. Panthers, Dolphins, Cowboys, Seahawks. The Jets and the Giants are in the mix.
All those teams stink.
Worst teams again.
That's one thing I noticed in that repertoire right there. Everyone stinks except the Texans.
Yes, Texans are a flip. I think they're 6-3, right? Straight up, but they're 3-6 against the number so
Take
far
the
this
Lions
year. So
Sunday
that's your
night.
one. Take the Lions Sunday night. Best over and under this year. Ravens 8 out of their 9 games to the over. How about that? Bengals 6 out of their 9 games to the over. That's why we got 53.5 coming at us tomorrow night. Panthers also the over. As far as the under, Chargers 7 out of 8, Texans 7 out of 9, Giants and Colts and Browns 6.
So you might be right about the Texans Lions Sunday night under.
I think it's an under game. I think it's like a Lion 24-14 type of win, like something like that. Well under the 49.5. I think for the Lions and the Texans coming up on Sunday night. Odds to win the AFC after 9 weeks. It's the Chiefs at the top, followed by the Ravens and Bills, and everybody else. The Steelers are on there somewhere, right? We can find the Steelers on this 14-1. For the Steelers to win the AFC.
I like that. I like that price. And then what are the Bills plus 3 what?
350 I believe is where the Bills 375. As we have finally reached the moment in my life where I can't read the small print anymore. My eyes have been so good for so long that either I've put the screen far enough away from me where I can't read the small print anymore. But that's okay.
Mike,
I have mostly everything.
I got a lot of good advice for you there. Progressives, you get 3 lenses. You got distance. You got like middle, which would be like computers in front of you, and then you got up close for reading your phone and your newspaper. Even though I don't think read the newspaper anymore. I will tell you when it gets to the point where you cannot read your phone ever. You're going to be wearing glasses because you will not be able to read your phone soon. That's coming. And there's other words. Like, here's me in bed. Like last night, I woke up at like 2 a.m. to go to the bathroom, and I wanted to see a couple of scores, for betting. And I'm in bed like this, and I'm like, oh God, I couldn't even try to read it. Like it's literally a blurry city. It's a blizzard. It's like Dairy Queen.
It's part of old age. I mean, look, I used to be able to spot a dime on the floor 100 yards away. My eyes were so good. And now, it's getting there for me, unfortunately.
I did LASIK, and that wore off in 10 years. I went from having 20/20 to back to crappy vision in 10 years. Meanwhile, I got some guy peeling layers of my eyeballs off, telling me I'm going to be 20/20 for life. You know when I did that? when I was the Thrashers play-by-play guy, they gave me free LASIK to be the Thrashers play-by-play guy. They peeled my eyeballs off, and they've never been the same. I blame that guy. I hope he gets hit by a truck.
The NFC side, it's the Lions. They're the favorites, with the 4-4 49ers right there behind them. Eagles, Vikings, Packers, everyone in the mix there on the NFC side of things.
Yeah, I want to see the Niners out of the mix completely. And I would love to see, I'll be honest with you. I told you before, I think the Eagles, the Falcons, the Commanders, and the Lions are in play. And I know everyone thinks the worry I have is when McCaffrey comes back, the Niners are going to start winning. And they always play better after week 9, which is now. It's week 10 now. It's a halfway point. There's 9 more weeks. That's it. And so this is when they start winning. And I hate them dead.
I hate them dead too, but I think that's precisely what's going to happen starting this week. Out of the bye, I feel like they're going to turn the corner and start to, at the minimum, take over the NFC West in some shape or form.
I don't think his body's long for this world, though. I give him a short shelf life in the NFL, believe it or not. Christian McCaffrey is always injured. That's all there is to it.
He's had half the season off. So he only has to make it the other half. He got to sit out the first 2.5 months.
Bad calves, bad legs. Yep. He's a running back. He's a pass-catching running back who has bad legs. You know what that means? It never gets better. What are you going to change legs? Like a pair of pants? You going to change your legs? No, they never get better. Athletes with bad legs, they go away like toilet flushes.
If they could probably just do like what Vegas does in the NHL, where they just leave you on IR the whole year, and then they magically are better for the playoffs. And they should do that with McCaffrey. That way they only need to get 3 or 4 weeks
you gotta admit that's
out of him. The Knights are good at that over on the NHL side. Jefferson leads the NFL in receiving yards. He's got 783. MVP update for you through 9 weeks. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes seem to be the separators right now, although Goff ain't too far behind.
Yeah, Goff at 8-1 he's fantastic. Goff's nearly perfect, and he's 4th. And Mahomes has no numbers at all. He has terrible numbers for a guy that's won all these Super Bowls and they're undefeated. His numbers are crap.
I don't believe that. Look, they're 8-0. All right, it is what it is, and that's why he's there. He's having his, you could say, worst statistical season that he's had, and that's crazy to say with them being 8-0. That's wild. And I think part of their 8-0 is, as I said the other day, I feel like their defense is a lot better than it's been in years past. And that's part of the bigger reason why they're 8-0 so far this year. He should not be up there. I think it's Lamar and Allen right now.
Might be the Bills might be the team that beats them. I hope it's the Steelers on Christmas Day. I would love that as a Christmas present. Watching the Steelers beat the Chiefs. I told you already, I don't know how many times I gotta say it. I live for their demise and their eventual downfall. I live for it. I can't wait till they suck again. You remember when you used to say, like the Packers, you'd be like, they've had nothing but great quarterbacks for the last 50 years.
Quarterbacks.
And then the Patriots, all they've had is Tom Brady. Now they're getting a slice of what it's like to not be a good team and to suck. They're in that cycle. So I can't wait till Kansas City's in that cycle.
Yeah. Defensive player of the year favorite right now is, of course, I mean, who wouldn't it be besides TJ Watt? So TJ Watt's your favorite in that aspect. And I'll give you the coach of the year when we come back.
He always gets shafted,
as well.
though. That's the problem with
I'll
him.
give you the full odds for that and the coach before I move on to the college football stuff when we come back. So only a couple other things to do with us for the NFL. And then I'll give you I got a lot of college football for you today. A lot of racks of college football to go through. Huge games on Saturday.
And there's 2 games tonight in the Maction.
One of
them you got to lay 20 in a hook.
Can we get some points tonight? Can we get some points tonight? I mean, those games were sleepy last night.
Both teams covered last night. Both dogs covered.
Sleep.
Are they definitely done with Daniel Jones from this point? And any shot that Dable is off the sidelines, meaning he gets fired before next season?
They have a general manager in Joe Shane. Every big move has to get approval by ownership. So, look, the bottom line is they don't know who their future quarterback is past this season. Tommy DeVito's clearly not the answer. They don't have a Drew Lock's not the answer.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
A lot of concern, I would say, for Georgia in Carson Beck. 3 interceptions. Once again, his third 3-interception game in the last 5 for UGA.
You can argue if they had Alex Orji as their starting quarterback for Georgia, they would be perfect and unbeaten right now just by not turning the football over and running it with your talented backfield.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
What can you say about Hunter? Besides the fact that he's got to be healthy. Remember, he had the shoulder injury that kind of limited him at, once it got into the end of the season. 17.9, 10.9 last year, and he should be, as usual, a double-double machine. He's got to be able to continue to show the ability to try and shoot the ball from 3.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
As you know, Carver High, I've been making tremendously poor decisions recently in the Ferrall Palatial, of which I had another one today. As you know, I told you that there was a leftover bag of at least 5,000 pounds of the best candy and chocolate known to man. The greatest candy bars and chocolate, Reese's peanut butter cups, things of this nature, Snickers bars, caramel, just endless supply, just endless Crunch bars, Kit Kats, just an endless bevy of chocolate. And I have been unable to stop eating it. I have been eating chocolate since for Halloween at a clip unequaled by my peers. And I'm noticing the potential for either weight gain or zit breakout. Like, I'm not used to eating tons of chocolate. Like, I like chocolate, but I don't fiend on it. But there are certain things like Reese's peanut butter cups that potentially I could eat 100 of them. And I mean, once I start, I can't stop. It's like popcorn. It's like rum. I can't stop. I'm like addicted to it. The Reese's peanut butter cups, for Christ's sakes, I've had 5,000 of them. I think I may be getting a breakout or weight gain or some kind of maybe bowel problems. I don't know, but I am clogged up, my arteries and everything, with chocolate. Another poorest decision at the Ferrall Palatial.
Yep, got to stop making bad choices is pretty much what it comes down to for you on the home front. Not going to end well. Here is those Defensive Player of the Year odds that I have for you. Of course, we know T.J. Watt. He's the best defensive player, period. And he's got a very big lead on the odds board over everybody at this point. Everybody. He's going to win.
He is so good. Who are they going to shaft him with this year? Dexter
I don't
Lawrence?
think they can.
Who are they going to shaft? Trey Hendrickson? How about Chris
There's
Jones?
nobody
They
close.
love the Kansas City Chiefs. Love them. They don't like the
There's
Pittsburgh
nobody
Steelers
close.
Voters.
They can't do it this year. There's nobody in the stratosphere, and they don't even have any of their usual big names to try to push, like Parsons and Garrett, and Aaron Donald's retired, so they can't push him. Like, it's they got no choice. They're going to have to give it to T.J. Watt. Coach of the Year, through 9 weeks of the season before we go. And Dan Quinn of Washington is your favorite at plus 200. Peyton Campbell, Reed, Tomlin, O'Connell, etc., after him.
Yeah, I think Dan Campbell has been the best coach. This guy has them back in short order, going on a run to get revenge on the 49ers for them and him screwing up that game last year at Levi's Stonewashed Denim Jeans. Honestly, Dan Quinn, I think is doing a good job because Jaden Daniels is his quarterback and he's the one winning all the games. Dan Quinn had nothing to do with the Hail Mary. They're winning because of Jaden Daniels and McLaurin. That's it. That's all there is to it. Dan Campbell is coaching the Lions to being the best team in the NFL.
He certainly is at this point. They have been outstanding. They usually give that award, though, as you know, to somebody like Quinn, who takes a team that everyone thought was going to suck, and they end up being good. Like, that's usually the what pushes everyone ahead. But if the Lions go 14-3, have themselves a huge year, I think you have to make a case for him.
He'll win it.
That's for sure. All right, here we go. Let's get college football stuff in here now. We talked about it a little bit at the open of the show, and that is that the Crack Crab and Lobster Committee put out their inaugural college football playoff rankings last night. So here are the actual rankings themselves. Now, you got to remember, I know. Well, listen. Remember, far away for us, not for everyone at home. Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, Miami, Texas, in the top 5 for you there. But really, that doesn't make too much of a difference because, as you know, the top 4 conference champions are the ones that will get the bye. So somebody from the Big 12. And right now, BYU's 9th. That's the highest-ranked Big 12 team. And obviously, teams like Iowa State and Colorado are still very much in the mix for that. One of them will get the jump, and Ohio State will slid down. Here's the tree. I know you wanted to see this as well, which is what the bracket would look like today. And there it is for you. Notre Dame, Penn State would play Georgia. Alabama, Texas would play Miami. Ohio State, Boise would play BYU, and Indiana, Tennessee would play Oregon. That, of course,
that'd be the end
just
of the Hoosiers right there.
Well, as I said to you, if Indiana beats Ohio State in a couple weeks and they get themselves into the Big Ten championship game and maybe win that too, they'll have a bye. They won't have to worry about playing anyone in the first round if all those things happen.
I will keel over if they win in Columbus. I have been watching them my whole life, and they have never won there ever. Not once ever.
Ever. But you know what? They've done a lot of things this year that they've never done, and they're starting to do them.
But that's the pinnacle. They've never won it.
They're moving their way up the mountain here. I mean, they're 14-point favorites over Michigan this week. Imagine saying that ever in your lifetime in Bloomington. So anything's possible for this Indiana team.
I think
anything's possible.
This kid Rourke is really good at what he's doing. And, Michigan doesn't have a quarterback at all. So
no.
I don't think they're going to have the ball that much. So I think this guy Rourke's going to go to work like a master chef, like carve him up.
That is what he is. Rourke has been outstanding. I've even seen him. I'm going to give you the Heisman stuff later. He's actually moved to like 6th on the Heisman board, Curtis Rourke. He's been so good for Indiana. SMU and Texas A&M are the first 2 out. They are 13 and 14 in that poll. Of course, plenty of time for everybody to still play their way back in. We'll come back. I'll give you odds to win. You already mentioned earlier Ohio State's the favorite. I'll tell you who's after that. And then I've got Maction for you tonight. That's right. You mentioned there was some MAC games.
To win that thing is beyond me. They lost to Oregon in Eugene, and now they think that everyone thinks they're going to win because they beat Penn State. Beating Penn State
that might have moved a little.
It's like beating the Little Sisters of the Poor for Ohio State. It's easy.
I'll give you the updated numbers. I think it moved a little bit.
Are they definitely done with Daniel Jones from this point? And any shot that Dable is off the sidelines, meaning he gets fired before next season?
They have a general manager in Joe Shane. Every big move has to get approval by ownership. So, look, the bottom line is they don't know who their future quarterback is past this season. Tommy DeVito's clearly not the answer. They don't have Drew Lock's not the answer.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
A lot of concern, I would say, for Georgia in Carson Beck. 3 interceptions. Once again. His third 3-interception game in the last 5 for UGA.
You can argue if they had Alex Orji as their starting quarterback from Georgia, they would be perfect and unbeaten right now just by not turning the football over and running it with your talented backfield.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
What can you say about Hunter? Besides the fact that he's got to be healthy. Remember, he had the shoulder injury that kind of limited him at, once he got into the end of the season. 17.9, 10.9 last year, and he should be, as usual, a double-double machine. He's got to be able to continue to show the ability to try and shoot the ball from 3.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, odds to win it all. I honestly, I can't for the life of me understand these odds.
Well, let me show you how things kind of shake out now that we've gotten the first college football playoff poll and see how these things work. Now, Ohio State, of course, wouldn't even have a bye right now. They would be in that 5 hole in the poll. Now, they're going to get to play if they win out. Oregon again and get a chance to get that bye. But they are actually still a slight favorite, plus 330 for Ohio State, or with Georgia at plus 350, Oregon at 450 now, and then Texas, Miami, Alabama, Tennessee, and Penn State. Indiana is 30-1. We can dream, can't we? Notre Dame is 30-1. Anybody else? I can't really go further than that. That's probably as far as I can go in terms of teams that are in the mix right now.
All right, so first of all, Indiana at 30-1 is insane to me because how many times we got to say this? They score 47 points a week, and they give up nothing. They have one of the best defenses in all of college football, and they have loads of experience. Every guy's a 3rd or 4th year guy that has won awards at their position across the board. That's why they're 9-0. They mean business, and yet they're 30-1. Second of all, Ohio State lost to Oregon. I think if they played them again, they could possibly beat them in a different setting, in a neutral setting. They played at Outson and they lost by 1, whatever. I think Ohio State can beat them. The team that I don't think they can beat, as I said on this show earlier, I think to Morenzi, is Georgia. Georgia went to Austin and destroyed Texas, the number 1 team in the country, with this alleged great Quinn Ewers, who is not even better than Arch Manning. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, optically, you can't tell me that kid Manning isn't better than Ewers. I mean, he's already gone and laid eggs now. I think Georgia would beat the snot out of Ohio State. I really do. I think Georgia can beat anyone, and if they play Miami, they beat Miami too. We already heard today, Georgia doesn't lose to anyone except Alabama. They don't lose to anyone ever except Alabama. And Alabama is not in this conversation. Now, if Alabama, I said, they could, if they played Miami, I think Alabama could give Miami problems, matchup problems. There are teams in this list that I respect. I do not respect for 1 minute that what is Penn State? 20-1? They have Penn State 20-1. 20-1. And Notre Dame, what are they? 20-1? Or 30-1, just like Indiana.
30.
Come on.
30.
I mean, Penn State just couldn't score a touchdown in front of 110,000 people in their stadium. They waited all year for that game against Ohio State. And, I mean, it was like Ohio State was effing with them. They were literally effing with them the whole game. And I lost all respect for them. Again, they can't win big games. Yet they're ahead of all these teams that are kick-ass, like Indiana. I would love to see Indiana play Penn State right now. I think Indiana beat them. I really do. And I think these people that do these odds, what they do is, in my view, unequivocally, they do it to sucker you and to take all your money and your wife and children and your house and your job and everything else. I've said this a million times. These people are dirty. They're evil. They are unholy. They are scrupulous. And everything is done to completely brainwash you and F you over. That's all they do. Giving away all their free fake money every day and all their commercials. I don't know what's worse, sportsbook commercials or political ads. Which one do you think it is? Which one's worse? Which one brainwashes you more? And how funny, at the bottom, you have a problem with gambling? Here, call this number that you can't read the phone number on. We're going to save your life. You're going to go to a 12-step meeting and stop gambling. My effing ass. Okay? Just stop. Who are you kidding? Who are you kidding? And you know what else? Again, I'm right.
Bowling Green beat Central Michigan last night. Miami of Ohio beat Ball State. Tonight, you get 2 more games in the match.
$5 will give you $200 automatic in your account. How many of those ads have you seen with celebrities telling you how much money they're going to give you? All they do is take your money with their crappy odds. I'm
Ohio
right.
and Kent State, Northern Illinois, and Western Michigan tonight in the MAC. There you go.
Oh, God. Listen, Northern Illinois, I cannot believe they beat Notre Dame because now they're just average. They're a 500 football team. I'd love to see Western Michigan beat them tonight, and I think Ohio's winning that game, but 20 and a hook. Like, look what that did last night, laying 13 and a hook and 10 and a hook. You lost both bets.
He will be 2-7 against top 5 opponents in his 6 full seasons with the Buckeyes.
Now you're going to take on the road, one of the best rush defenses in the country in Penn State. You're already having trouble rushing the ball. So what does that mean, Ben? That means Ohio State is going to have to rely on Will Howard to throw the ball on the road. The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.